This is the inside of the Auto-Sleeper Fairford Plus. If I firstly come to the main control panel, you'll see that along the top here it's displaying the external temperature. The little picture of the sun that appears every now and then is just letting you know that the solar panel is active. We then have the lightning strike just here, letting us know that we're currently connected to mains electricity. We have the humidity in the centre, and on the right hand side just here we have the internal temperature. To turn the 12 volt on, just press here. We then have water pump on and off. We need the water pump on to be able to get water out of the taps and fill the boiler if it's been drained down. We then have water levels just here, so we have how much water is in the fresh tank and how much water is in the waste. We have power levels, so we have condition of leisure battery, condition of vehicle battery, the active battery's current, and then we have the mains current here and the solar current. Main cabin lights on and off, these can all be done as well on their own switches. If it is these top lights, they do have to be touched again once they've been turned off. We then have awning light on and off just here. Battery selection just here, so L for leisure, V for vehicle, and whichever battery you've selected on here is the battery you were charging when you were hooked up to main supply. If we now go into the settings menu, we have power settings, so we have everything at the moment set in smart mode, which means that at the moment the leisure battery is being charged from the main supply and the vehicle is being charged on the solar. After a few hours these would then switch round, and then after a few more hours they'd then switch back again. Smart is the easiest option to leave it on. We then have automatic tank fill just there for the whale filler on the outside of the van. And then we also have tank heaters just here. If we turn them on and off like so, if we leave them on like this, they will come on if the outside temperature drops below a certain temperature and there's water in the tanks. We then have lights that come on when we turn the 12 volt on. As you can see at the moment they're all off at the moment, but you can alter this if you wish. Key beeps on and off, water level alarms on and off for the fresh and the waste tank. The brightness of the backlight and how quickly before this screen times out when you're not touching it. And then set your time and date just here. And then we go back to the beginning again. Beside this control panel, we then have the whale control panel for the heating and the hot water system. So we have water heater and we have heating. If I begin to press this, you'll see it goes over a series of icons until it eventually ends back up at off. So if we start with the first icon just here, a little picture of a snowflake. This is the boiler's frost protection mode. So if you've got water in the boiler but you don't necessarily want to be draining it down, you can literally put it into this mode here, and if the temperature drops, it will just come on to avoid any frost damage occurring. We then have a single wavy line. Wavy lines represent mains electricity. I just rounded up to make life easier, so I class this as 1 kilowatt. And then we have two wavy lines, which I just class as 2 kilowatts. So these two settings here, so just dependent on the amperage of the site you're on to try and avoid tripping. We then have a picture of a flame, which is gas. And then we can also run the system in dual fuel mode, so a mixture of gas and mains at 1, or a mixture of gas and mains at 2. These settings are very handy, especially in the winter months if you want to get hot water extremely quickly. Whenever you are consuming gas, you will get a little flame just appear to let you know. For the heating, works very similar. So we have, again, back to off. We have a single wavy line for main supply, but this time it's about 500 watts. We then have two wavy lines, which is about 1 kilowatt. And 3 wavy lines, which is about 2 kilowatts. So again, just dependent on the amperage of the site you're on. We then have gas on its own again, and then we also have the dual fuel mode. And again, whenever we're consuming gas, we will get the little flame just appear to let you know. If there's a problem with the unit in any way, a red exclamation mark will appear here where my finger is for the water heater and here for the heating. If you then press the corresponding button, you'll get a series of red lights appear, and then within the manual, or if you Google it, it will tell you what the problem is. If it's something relatively easy, like you've not got mains connected or you've run out of gas, etc., once you think you've rectified the problem, you just need to reset the control panel. And the way you do this is, if it's a water heater issue, hold the water heater button down and then press the plus at the same time. And if it's a heating issue, heater button and then the plus at the same time to clear it back down again. "12-volt power point just here, and then we have aerial fly lead and satellite cable in, which is currently now going down to the Avtex television. This particular panel van has been fitted with a satellite dish, so if I now move across to here, you will see that we have the controls for it. If I now just press and hold, you'll see it will now come on. As we're in the UK and in the East at the moment, we want Astra 2. So you'll see it's flashing at the moment, and it will continue to flash as the dish goes up and then skews and then finds the satellite. Once the satellite is found, it will then go to a solid green light. If we want to change to any of the other satellites, so Astra 1, Hotbird or Intelsat, we just literally press the button and then pick. If there's a problem in any shape or form, you will get a little red alarm to let you know that there's a problem. As you can now see, we have a solid green light letting us know that we have locked onto the satellite. So if we now come down to the Avtex television, this already has a built-in satellite decoder, so it makes life very easy. If I now just turn it on, so we have all the normal stuff, volume control just here. We have the source button here, so we can switch between satellite, DVD player, etc. on there. We also have TV setup, so we can change contrast, etc. on this part here. And then we have the TV guide just here. Literally just press the pick, like so. If we now move along, we have the 3 gas rings just here. So we have push in, twist and push the igniter. And then we have beneath that the oven and the grill. Push into the left for the oven. And then push into the right for the grill. Storage, which can be gotten to by either going through this door or this door just here. More storage beneath the oven. You'll also find a few gas isolation taps as well. So we have the top one there, which is for the heating. Then we have the fridge and the cooker. Extractor fan just here, so we have extractor on and off on 2 variable speeds. And then we have lights on 2 different brightnesses. In the overhead locker here we have the crystal glasses, and in this one here we have plates, holder, etc. Also in here we have the Huawei mobile Wi-Fi, so on and off just here. The SIM card has been inserted, so you just go into its menu, find the WEP key, and then connect up via looking for the Wi-Fi signal on your device. Once you've connected up to it, you can then pay a subscription for as much data as you require. Microwave just here, isolator just here, and then it behaves like most microwaves at home. You have your start, stop just here, then you have your power settings, etc. Sink, and we have the Fairford fridge just here, so on and off just here. Once I've turned it on, if I now hold this grey button down, you'll see it begin to flash, and if we use the arrows we can then pick what power source we would like. So we have main supply, 12 volt maintain for when we are driving to keep the fridge cold on the move, and then we also have gas. So let's say we want to run it on mains for the moment, press the grey button again, and we will then move across to the temperature control, pick what temperature you would like it at, and again now just press the grey button, and as you can see now we're running it on mains at level 3. If there's a problem with the unit, so if I now just select 12 volt maintain for the moment, you'll see we've got a red flashing light, and it's flashing over this side as well. The reason it's doing this at the moment is because we do not have the engine running. Then we have the freezer compartment at the top just here. Back off again just by holding it. Above my head just here we have the Dometic air conditioning unit. To put it into standby, just press here. And then we have the controls for it just here. So to turn it on, just press this one. We have temperature control on the plus and the minus. Fan speed just here. Then we have the mode. So at the moment we're in air conditioning mode. We then have dry air, air recirculation, heat, and then we have automatic. So we're in auto, just pick the temperature you would like it to maintain. We then have night mode, which will calm the fan down for sleeping. We have a timer just here, so you literally just press, pick when you would like it to begin, pick when you would like it to end. The set button to set the night mode. Where else have we got? Yep, we've got this light here as well. Change from Celsius to Fahrenheit, just here. And then just back off again. If I now just remove the cushions just here, and we now lift up. You will see underneath here that we have the leisure battery. We also have the solenoid all at the back there that allows the water in on the whale filler. We have the consumer unit just here. So we have the main trip switches just here. So we have the 3 grey individual MCBs. We then have the main RCD and the yellow test button just there. So if something's not working on main supply, this is just your first port of call to see if you've tripped. We then have the 12 volt fuses just here. Again, they are all labelled up and will correspond in the Auto-Sleeper handbook the same as the trip switches. So if something's not working here, just check to see whether or not you've blown a fuse. Isolator switches along the top here, so we have the amber one for the heating and the hot water. So if I turn this off and I'm running either the heating or the hot water on main supply, you will get a red exclamation mark. The green one is for the battery charger, and again we want to be able to charge the batteries up whilst we're hooked up to the main supply. And this one just here is full system shutdown, so if you're planning on not using the motorhome for a long period of time, you can press this and it will kill any residual draw on the leisure battery. We then have storage beneath this seat as well. We have a toilet just here, extractor fan on and off just here. We then have the toilet, push to flush just here, open to the cassette just here. Do make sure that this has been closed back up again or you will not be able to remove the cassette from the outside. Level indicator just here, so this will rotate round to red when it needs to be emptied. We have the basin that slides from one side to the other. We then have the shower head that operates as the tap as well, and then can be the shower once it's put up here. Omni vent fan just here, so raise the roof vent just here, on in the centre. Then we have arrows out for extraction, arrows in for cooling, variable fan speed just by pressing. To make sure all roof vents are closed for travel. We then have the 2 rear bench seats, which can then be made into a double bed. So if I now just remove all the cushions, now the cushions have been removed, you can see that these can be stowed like this if you need a large garage area, and then they're just held back like so. To do this, just fold like so, and then literally bring up, fold the legs down, like so, and then clip it into place, and then exactly the same again, and again lock it into place like so, and then lift it up and then fasten the strap round. You'll see we also have TV points at the back here as well. storage just here. Boiler just here. To drain the boiler down for winterization, it's all just done on this yellow lever just here. Just literally make sure the water pump is turned off, twist like so, and it will then begin dropping all the water out. To refill it, pop it back like so, fill up the fresh water tank, turn the water pump on, and it will then begin to fill the boiler back up again. You may need to open up the taps to force the air out of the system. They'll cough, they'll splutter. Wait until you have them running freely on hot and cold, and then close again, and the system will then fully reprime itself. External shower point just here. And then we have storage and storage, and a 3-pin socket just here. This section here can fold out, and will then come across like so, and then we have this section here, which will then just drop into place on top. As you can now see, it goes like this. So we have the metal strip that just sits on the top of this section, and then we then have these two clips that lock it into place, and then we can then make the bed on the top. So if we firstly get these two poles and place them into these sections, so as you can see, they're now sitting like so, and then what we want to do is then fold these sections out to make the bottom of the bed. So as you can now see, it's all folded out and made the base of the bed, and now all we need to do is place the cushions on top. There we go. We then have a good sized double bed. To make the front bed, all we need to do is slide the table across and then drop this section just here down onto here, as you can now see, and then we want to lower this table down so it then rests on the plinths, and the way we lower it is by pressing this lever just here. And as you can now see, I've dropped it fully in. We then want to pull these sections out on both sides, so we end up with something like this. We then need to add the infills. So this back section comes away. You'll see that you have obviously this part here which wraps itself around the seat belt bar. So we have this infill that just slots in just here. Remove this cushion here. So as you can now see, it sits like so, and then we then just need to pop on the other three cushions just here, and as you can now see, all three of them are slotted into position, making the bed. You also have this cushion as well, and this is made to go in front of this clip here so you don't hurt yourself in the night by rolling and banging into it. To stop the table from sliding about, it's done on this grey lever here, and we can also rotate it just by pulling on this lever here. To drop the satellite dish back down again, just hold this button in and it will then put itself away. In this overhead locker just here, you actually have the control board for it. You can turn it on and off here as well, but it can obviously just be done on the controls that I've just shown you.